Greetings, it's Eric Bakker, the naturopath. Thanks for coming back. I'm going to talk about some different topics over the next probably likely several months. I've been focusing so much on digestive issues with people primarily. We talked about yeast issues, we've talked about SIBO, we've talked about inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome. We've talked about so many different conditions relating to, that spring from digestive problems, which is the focus of my work. But as you know, I've been in clinical practice, or have been in clinical practice for a long time, and I've seen so many people with so many different conditions. So digestive issues aren't the only things that I really specialize in. Needless to say, I've worked with people for a long, long time also when it comes to their weight, it comes to their metabolic function. This is something that naturopaths do by default. So as we improve a person's lifestyle, their diet, we work with people on various levels, they're going to get healthier. And naturally, as a consequence, they should be losing their weight. And in most instances, most all people I've worked with over the years have lost weight. Many have regained their weight, some have not regained their weight. So what makes it that some people can lose all their weight and keep that weight off, whereas others keep yo-yoing? They'll lose weight, they'll gain weight, they'll lose weight, they'll gain weight. Some people never seem to lose weight, and some people never seem to gain weight. So I'm very interested to do a series of videos regarding this problem, regarding the weight debacle, regarding diets, exercise, and what works, what doesn't work, in my opinion. There's a lot more to losing weight than just basically putting different foods on your plate or eating less food. So if you really think that you can get a permanent weight loss solution by just exercising, joining a gym and dieting, you're wrong, because it's not going to happen. Well, it will happen, but you'll gain it back again. Most all people who lose weight will gain the weight back again. Most all people. So the people that you see online, all those fancy pictures of some guy who's lost 100 pounds and some woman who's lost 200 pounds, and sure, those people exist, but they're rare. Okay, they're few and far between. The majority of people who lose weight gain it back again. The majority. So let's talk now about some of the reasons why I believe people gain that weight when they've lost it, why they can't keep that weight off permanently. Okay, so this is just one video in a series of many, but do watch this one right through to the end, because there's going to be some interesting information for you, particularly if you're struggling with your weight. A lot of the points I'm going to discuss in this video, in fact, I'll break down over time and make smaller 2 or 3 minute videos out of. So let's look at a couple of bullet points I've wrote down here. So the question again was, why do I always regain the weight after I lose it? Well, one of the big things is what you're doing is not sustainable. So you probably haven't thought about the long-term sustainability. So let's call that point number one. So you're not really thinking long-term, you're thinking more short-term. I've had a lady once say a crazy thing to me, that she wanted to lose an enormous amount of weight in a few weeks' time because she had a daughter's wedding coming up, for example. And I told her, well, sure, you can lose all the weight. You can lose 100 pounds in a day. It's called amputation. Well, she didn't like that much. It's not a sick joke. It's a reality. When you ask me dumb questions, you get dumb replies. You cannot lose 100 pounds in a week. Come on, that's unrealistic, isn't it? Anyone who has that kind of even thought pattern that they want to lose a large amount of weight instantly is definitely not a person who's going to keep that weight off permanently. All right, because it's not sustainable. You can't just lose weight quickly and then gain it all back again. All right, it doesn't work like that. But you will gain it back when you lose it quick. The quicker you lose it, in fact, I find the faster you gain it back. So just be careful. So what you're doing is not sustainable. You've got to think about a long-term plan. It's a little bit like buying real estate or an investment. Okay, you're not going to make a lot of money overnight, but in the long haul, you're going to make a lot of money. So if you do small things on a regular basis and keep doing those things that contribute to you having energy and vitality, you're going to maintain that weight loss permanently. If you're going to do something short-term, example, a gym membership, or change the way you eat, or maybe relax a bit more, stress less, these could all be short-term solutions. But you have to do it for the long haul, okay? So you've got to be prepared to make that a habit. So what you did that contributed to your weight loss, maintain that body size that you want, you've got to maintain that. Now, some people don't even have to worry about maintaining because you're so active by default like me that the weight just drops off anyway. Some people are not active by default. Some people are more passive. They like to relax more. They like to sit on the couch more. They like Netflix more. I'm not criticizing that because I like to do that too. But I'm much more active than passive. And that's why I've always tended to maintain my frame of 150, 160 pounds. I've maintained all my 60 years. I may go up a couple of pounds, I may go down a couple of pounds, but I always tend to hover around the same weight. And that's because, in my opinion, my activity stays, I'm quite an active person, I always have been. I don't exercise as much as some people do. I don't need to because I'm doing so many other things that my metabolism's working. That's part of who I am. But what's part of who you are? Are you an active person? Are you a passive person? You can't just change on a dime. But think about that sustainability, okay? You've got to maintain things long term and sustain that activity to give you the result that you're looking for, whether it's investing, whether it's education, or whether it's maintaining the optimal body shape. It's going to take time, but it has to be sustainable what you're doing, all right? So you've got to be happy with your life. Second point, you are thinking short term. Now, most people only think short term with weight because they look at themselves in the mirror and they go, oh my goodness, I'm far too big, I need to lose all that weight, okay? So they'll go to it could be something like Weight Watchers or something like that. They'll go on a program and they're thinking short term, they're not thinking long term. Never ever think short term with weight. Think long term. Think 50 years. Think, what is my butt going to look like when I'm 70, all right? Don't think what my butt is going to look like when I'm 25 with an iPhone in front of my face on Instagram. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in your health long term, okay? So think about that. Don't think short term, and also think it's got to be sustainable what I'm going to do. All right. Third point, too many restrictions. You had lots of restrictions put on you. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. You weren't allowed to eat this. You had to exercise for so many hours per day. You had to go to the gym so many times per week, So when you put all these restrictions in place on you, both socially, exercise-wise, diet-wise, the more you restrict yourself and the harder you make it, the more likely you're going to go, what the hell, and you're going to drop it. All right? You're going to get sick of all these restrictions. We've got enough restrictions as it is. We've got the taxation department on our back. We've got the police on our back. We've got our mother-in-laws on our back. We've got everything on our back. We don't want to be on top of our back ourselves by putting all these restrictions on top of us. There's got to be some fun. You've got to be able to enjoy yourself. If you can't enjoy yourself and look at a long-term game plan, you ain't going to get the body size you want, all right? Number 4, you're calorie focused, okay? One reason why people, this again is part of the restriction thing I'm talking about. If you just focus on calories, okay, and purely do that, you're going to get sick and tired of weighing your food, looking at your food, counting it, working out how many grams of carbohydrates to eat, and get rid of all that. You don't need that kind of nonsense in your life, all right? And again, we've got enough restrictions as it is. Don't be calorie focused. Food is an important part of weight, but it's not the major reason why people don't lose weight, okay? It's not the only reason is food. There are a whole lot of things we need to discuss, and we will over time explain to you why it's more than just Coke and fries while you're getting big. Because I can tell you now, I've seen plenty of people eat Coke and fries that don't weigh 400 pounds, right? So it's not just the food. So don't just purely look at calories and forgo exercise, lifestyle, and everything else, and purely look at what you're eating. Same thing, don't purely look at exercise and forget the food. Because some people eat all kinds of crap and then exercise thinking that if they run around the block 3 more times, they can have 2 more cookies. Doesn't work like that, okay? You're just deluding yourself. You can't do that. The 5th point, and one of the most important points we're going to talk a lot about coming up in the months or weeks ahead, will be lifestyle. Lifestyle is a key point, and this is a big reason, in my opinion, why people don't maintain the weight losses, because they don't maintain that relaxed, easygoing, natural lifestyle. They've got a stressed lifestyle. They've got kids. They've got mortgages. They've got a partner, maybe with it. There could be infidelity going on in the relationship. There could be all sorts of concerns and stresses that this person has got. All this internal turmoil, emotional turmoil. These things push your stress elevators right up, okay? And of course, as cortisol liberates and becomes, larger in the body, so do the ramifications of stress. You start to get blood sugar being released. You're going to get inappropriate cravings. You're going to get fatigue. You're going to get grumpy. You're going to get shitty with people and emotional, and all these things that we don't want. Okay, so lifestyle is a key part, in my opinion, of maintaining ultimate weight loss for a long time. All right. So we're going to talk quite a bit in future about thyroid issues, about adrenal issues, about HPA axis dysfunction, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis dysfunction. We're going to talk also about Krebs cycle dysfunction, about energy production problems, all sorts of issues. So all these things will come up, ahead. So plenty more videos. I think there's like 1,400 videos on this channel. I could easily do 1,000 videos on weight alone. There's so much to talk about. So here I am raving on, but I hope you get the gist of it. Why do I always gain weight after I've lost it? There are 5 reasons I've given you, but I could give you another 50 more. Okay, so let's just quickly recap that. Well, most likely what you're doing is not sustainable in the long term. Okay, and you're probably only thinking short term. You weren't thinking, okay, when I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 80s. Okay, you don't want to be a large older person. It's going to give you a lot of health problems. The restrictions. Maybe you're putting too many restrictions on yourself. You're not having fun anymore. Maybe you're calorie focused. You're focusing purely on exercise or diet or just one aspect and not looking at the holistic concept of, getting that weight off and keeping it off. And also the last one, the important one, is ignoring lifestyle and stress. We'll catch up with you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, click on the link below. There will be a paper in the description box regarding different diets. I want you to go and check that out. Your free guide, I'm just reading here. Your free guide. Diets that work, diets that don't work. So check it out. Click on the link. Thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe, especially if you're interested in natural weight loss without ramming all this diet stuff down your throat the whole time. Thanks for tuning in.